Hi friends, nice to see you back at Garfin's creation. We'll be making this eggless royal icing and also coloring it and also showing various ways you can use it. With just 2 ingredients too, this royal icing dries up nice and hard. It's easy to prepare and very versatile too. The first ingredient is icing sugar. Do not replace the icing sugar with any other powder sugar. The first thing we have to do is sieve the icing sugar well. This will remove any lumps present in the sugar. To make this icing, we really need a very smooth sugar, so do not even try to grind the sugar in a blender and then use it. The ready-made icing sugar works well and best for this recipe. So this was 3 cups, that is almost 330 grams of icing sugar. Once this is done, the next ingredient is Aquafaba, or the brine that you get along with the chickpea can. You can use any brand of this canned chickpeas. The liquid that is used to store these chickpeas is what we are going to use today. It is also called as Aquafaba. So first we need to drain out all the liquid from the can. Aquafaba is a great option for vegetarians who would not prefer egg whites in royal icing. And the royal icing too, made from this aquafaba, dries very well. To drain the liquid, use a very fine sieve so that no particles of the chickpea remains in the water. So I'll be sieving this once more in a very fine sieve and get back. So now after sieving it once more, I've taken 1/4 cup of this liquid into a mixing bowl. We get quite a good quantity too, with just a 1/4 cup of this aquafaba too. And using a hand whisk on high speed, I will whisk this till it's nice and frothy. It will look same just like the egg whites. And this takes less than 2 minutes to get frothy. Also remember, the aquafaba that I have used is at room temperature and not chilled. So once you have got this little frothy thing, we'll stop and start adding the icing sugar into it. Though I have taken 3 cups of icing sugar, I will not be using all of it at once. The royal icing can be used in different ways, and so you can have different type of consistency with this royal icing. I'm going to keep this royal icing a bit softer, so I'll use less icing sugar. I prefer keeping the royal icing less stiff in the beginning so that we can adjust the icing sugar later too. Just in case if your royal icing gets too stiff or dry, you can just add a few drops of water and make it soft. But it's always better to have a softer royal icing in the initial stage, and so that you can add more sugar later on too. While you're still whisking, also do scrape the bowl in between. So now I'll continue whisking and add the icing sugar a little at a time till I get the desired consistency. If you prefer making royal icing with egg whites, I have already posted a video for that too on my channel. Since I'll be using this royal icing to coat some Easter eggs, I'll need a little thinner consistency of the royal icing. And later on, you can definitely add more icing sugar into it and mix it again to get the thicker consistency. If you're not using all of the aquafaba at one time, you can store it in an airtight box and keep it in the fridge for 5 days. Or you can also store it in an airtight box in the freezer for months. So I'll just stop here, and this is the consistency I'll be using it to coat the Easter eggs. If you have been decorating sugar cookies and using the flooding effect, this is a little bit thinner than that. Not too thin too. And the rest of the icing sugar we'll reserve for further use. So now to color the icing, I'll be just taking a portion of it in 2 bowls. I'll be using gel colors to mix the colors for it. Using too much liquid colors or even mixing it vigorously for too long will thin out the royal icing. You need to keep covered the royal icing when not in use. If you have any leftover icing, you can keep it in an airtight box and keep it in the fridge and use it for at least 5 days. When you want to use that icing, just let it come to room temperature and then whip it up again and use it. So I just added a drop of yellow gel color into it and just mix it lightly. Do watch the video where I have prepared the Easter egg using this royal icing. This royal icing is so versatile, you can use it for various ways. So do continue watching this video till the end as I show you how you can use this royal icing in different ways. So I'll be making the pink royal icing too. As you can see, the royal icing made with Aquafaba is really nice and white. So you can make many colors of your choice. So these two are the colors I'll be using to coat the Easter eggs. And you can check the consistency, that it's not too very thin and not too very thick as well. All I have to do is just pour it over the Easter eggs. You can also fill a piping bag and do the same. This consistency of this icing is good enough for it to flow freely down. And you get a nice smooth covering once this is dried. So once these are coated, we will let them dry completely. So this is how it looks after drying. Next, I'll be showing how to make a little stiffer consistency of the royal icing. So just take in a little royal icing into a container, and I'll keep adding a little bit of the icing sugar and mix it again. Depending on the purpose for what you're going to use icing, you can add sugar accordingly. I am aiming for a little stiffer consistency. You can check this way by pulling up with your finger. The peak starts falling down. So this is not entirely stiff peaks. And if you make any flowers or any decorations with this, definitely those petals will also drop down. So I added a little more icing sugar till I get a little stiffer peak. So now I'll check it once more. You can see that it retains its shape. So this is good enough, and now we can fill a piping bag with this. I'll be making some tiny flowers with this, and I have not colored this, but you can definitely color it to whichever color of flowers you require. I'm using this Noor 5 number nozzle, which is a star nozzle. I just put a little of the icing into the bag, and then I will just squeeze it out till it comes to the bottom. You can prepare these flowers on a plastic sheet and let them dry completely, and once they are dried, you can just remove them out from the plastic sheet and store them in a box and use it wherever you want. So now you can see the flower has got its shape. It means the consistency is good enough for it to retain its shape. So you can always keep trying with the icing till you get the right consistency to make these flowers. Also make leaves using the leaf nozzle. Using the writing nozzle, you can also write and also create borders like I have done for this Easter egg. So now besides this, I'll also show you how to thin out and use it in another way as well. I've just taken a little of the royal icing and added just a few drops of water to thin it out. We're creating some lace effect on the Easter egg. To get the icing a little bit transparent, once it dries out, I just added a little water to thin it out, and then with the brush just applied it on the Easter egg. So once this icing dries out, you will see a very thin layer which will look like a lace effect. There is a lot you can do with this royal icing, and these are just a few ways. And if you have any leftover royal icing, keep it in an airtight container and keep it in the fridge and use it within 5 days. I hope you liked all the ways and how you can use this royal icing. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe to Garfin's Creation. See you again. Bye-bye.